Every week, the loudest voices try to drown out the truth.
But we're turning the volume back up.
From hidden agendas
to expose lies.
To the winds that remind us that America still has fight left.
And yes, we're diving into conspiracy theories too, the ones people whisper about until they turn out to be true.
Two hosts, unfiltered opinions.
One podcast.
This is The Right Approach. And then, I still love that so much.
I know.
I haven't listened to it in a minute, but I listen to it a lot when I'm editing these. And it's great. On repeat, it's fantastic. Welcome back. This is episode 4 of The Right Approach. We went on a quick 2-week hiatus, just, for the holidays. It's good to be around your family and all that good stuff. So we're back though, and I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
This is going to be a great episode. We've got quite some stuff to cover. A lot has happened since the last time we've talked.
So much has happened.
Way too much. It's
I got
ridiculous.
whiplash.
Yep, just a little bit. Now, before we get into this, I do quickly want to say, over our 2-week hiatus, I, for the first time, was confronted about our podcast, and for the first time ever, I was called a racist. And it was interesting. And I want to make something very clear. I am not racist. I don't hate you or dislike you because you look different than me. I don't hate you or dislike you because you have a different religion than me. I do not hate you or dislike you because you are from a different place than me. However, I do not like you if you come into my country, you commit crimes, and then you yell about how much you hate this country. That I do hate. So, now that that's cleared up and we're all good, let's get on with this episode. For this week, Conservative Win of the Week, we got a lot to talk about, including an update on Brandon Herrera's congressional race. We've got James Fishback for governor of Florida. We'll talk about him in a minute. And then we have Trump, as of this morning, actually, announced a major affordable housing law. And we'll get into that, and it's going to be great. For our conspiracy theory this week, we've got the Bondi Beach terror attack. It was a terrible thing that happened.
But it was incredibly planned?
Possibly planned. Now, I don't want to... It did happen still semi-recently, so it's kind of hard to talk about this without, being too happy, not having a happy tone while talking about it. So we're going to try our best, but just keep that in mind. Media Madness, we're going to talk about the Brown University shooting. And for our main topic, Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Oh, Trump in Venezuela. All right, let's kick things off. Conservative Win of the Week. My bad. We've got 3 different things, so I'm going to try and speed run this while still touching on each topic. First of all, an update on Brandon Herrera's congressional race.
This angers me. This sends fire through my soul.
It does. It angers me too, and I honestly can't believe it. I didn't think that this would happen. On the 18th of December, 2025, President Trump endorsed Tony Gonzalez, who is Herrera's political rival, in a Truth Social post saying, Congressman Tony Gonzalez is a terrific representative for the wonderful people of Texas's 23rd Congressional District. A retired Master Chief Petty Officer from the U.S. Navy who bravely deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, Tony knows the wisdom and courage that is required to defend our country, support our brave military veterans, and ensure peace through strength. In Congress, Tony is working hard to grow our economy, cut taxes and regulations, promote Made in the USA, champion American energy dominance, keep our now very secure border secure, and defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Tony Gonzalez has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He will not let you down.
I fear he will.
He absolutely will, Mr. President. Unfortunately...
You're wrong. I don't say that very often, but you're wrong.
I say it more often than I'd like to, unfortunately. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think our president is a little naive on this topic. He might not know everything because Brandon Herrera responded to this post with his own X post stating, Tony has betrayed Trump before and he will again. If he believes any endorsement can save him from his voting record, his scandals, or his lies, he is sorely mistaken. We will win. One topic Herrera is referring to is Tony's stance on gun control and how he has, on multiple occasions, voted against our Second Amendment right, even though Trump is in full support of our Second Amendment right. he still is adamant on endorsing Gonzalez. I can't help but wonder if President Trump is naive to all the things Gonzalez truly stands for. I don't think he understands fully.
I think he just sees Brandon as like a social media personality.
I think he does, and I think he also feels the need to endorse the current incumbent for his own party. So it makes sense, kind of, but I feel like he should be doing his own research.
I think he's an idiot.
I don't think he's an idiot, but I do think he's ill-informed.
I think he's an idiot.
All right, fair enough. Moving on, James Fishback. James Fishback, if you don't know, I absolutely love James Fishback. He's running for governor of Florida. He's a native-born, fourth-generation Floridian, and he is truly America first. He's not just a political candidate, he's a real person, and it shows. From blooper reels to some of his really funny videos that I absolutely love, and topics that actually benefit the average American. He has vowed to visit every district in Florida for a meet and greet style meeting. And if he visits near us, I promise you we will try and go say hi. At least I will. I really want to meet him. I want to go. Great, we can both go. I really want to meet him. He seems like an incredible guy. And I'm going to throw up a quick montage of all the things that he stands for, just so you can get a quick idea of what I'm talking about.
My name is James Fishback, and I'm running to succeed Ron DeSantis as Florida's next Republican governor. I'm running for Florida governor so I can make life more affordable for you and your family, easier to afford groceries, to buy a home, to raise a family, and when it's all said and done, to retire with dignity. I'll do that by stopping the H-1B scam so our workers, especially our college grads, can get jobs again. I'll tell Blackstone, Airbnb, and foreign investors that no, in Florida, you can't buy our homes because our homes are for families. And I'll stop the construction of any AI data center that threatens to raise our electricity bills or poison our water supply. And I'll completely and totally eliminate property taxes for every Florida resident, because in America, you don't rent your home from the government. You own it, free and clear. Nowadays, not all Republicans are the same. If a Republican politician supports the H-1B scam that fires our workers, he can't be our next governor. If he goes out and supports the building of AI data centers that threaten our electric bills and our water supply, he can't be our next governor. And if he goes to Congress and does nothing for us but makes millions of dollars trading stocks for himself, he can't be our next governor. Congressman Byron Donalds can't be our next governor because he won't fight for Florida like Ron DeSantis has. I will. I'll fight to preserve Governor DeSantis' wins by keeping Florida free from DEI, radical transgenderism, Soros-backed prosecutors, child predators, voter fraud, and the millions of illegals that invaded our country on Kamala Harris's watch. I'll do that because, unlike Byron Donalds, I'm not a politician. I'm an investor and a businessman. I stood up to Wall Street, I sued the Federal Reserve, and I filed a landmark brief with the Supreme Court defending President Trump's right to fire corrupt federal officials. I started Incubate Debate, a free high school debate league for thousands of kids across Florida so they could learn how to debate, discuss, and grow as Americans. I love our state. I am a fourth-generation Floridian. My great-grandfather fought in World War I and then owned a small hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. My grandfather fought in World War II and ran 750 head of cattle in Okeechobee. My father proudly drove the city bus in Broward County, where I was born and raised. I went to Florida public schools from kindergarten to graduation. Even though I grew up in South Florida, I now call the Panhandle home. I'm an unapologetic Christian who believes that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm a proud American who will never apologize for our history. In the coming months, I'm going to meet as many Florida voters as I can, where they live, work, and pray. I'll visit all 67 counties because Florida's next governor has to be someone you can see, talk to, and even debate with. I look forward to seeing you soon. My name is James Fishback, and I approve this message because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we will never let them steal it from us.
And there you go. Quick 3 seconds for us, maybe a minute for you. Moving on, finally, for our last topic on Conservative One of the Week, a major affordable housing law by Trump. As of today, January 8th, 2026, and yes, I do see that at the very bottom of this image, it does say January 7th, but this is when people actually started finding out about it. President Trump has officially set in motion to bring back affordable housing for young Americans buying their first homes. In a Truth Social post, President Trump posted, for a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for working hard and doing the right thing. But now, because of the record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress, that American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many people, especially younger Americans. It is for that reason, and much more, that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. President Donald J. Trump. If you don't understand what that means, basically, hedge funds, large corporations like BlackRock, who own everything in the world, look it up. If you want to go down this rabbit hole, BlackRock, the company, owns almost everything in the entire world. It's insane, including single-family homes. They have the ability and the power to buy up entire neighborhoods, and they will do it, and they have done it, and they will continue to do it unless we get this law passed. They buy up these homes, they don't resell them, they rent them out to homeowners. And because they control the entire housing market, they can charge whatever the hell they want. And they do. So they price gouge all these people, especially younger Americans who are looking for their first homes. And it's ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe that this is something that we even have to, manage. So President Trump is finally taking steps to do something about this. And let me tell you, if I were president, I have thought about this. This would have been one of the very first things that I signed into office. Now, President Trump is not doing this through an executive order, mainly because it could easily be overturned by the next presidency. Instead, he's trying to make this into an actual law. Now, that does make things a little bit harder for him and does make things take a little bit more time. However, since his announcement on this, companies like BlackRock have plummeted with their stocks, losing billions, upwards of $18 billion, have just been wiped from the market overnight.
That's a crap ton of money.
It's a lot of money. And for a company like this, it's terrible for them. I don't care personally. I hate BlackRock. I hate everything they stand for, owning up everything. It's just not right. So for them to take this major blow, I'm happy.
I am happy.
Yeah. So that is that for Conservative Win of the Week. Thank you, and we will keep you updated on everything.
Okay, so on December 14th, Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia, 2 gunmen opened fire into a crowd of people during a Hanukkah event noting the start of the season. This part needs to be slightly addressed because too many people have asked me this. I've gotten asked twice about why there were people on the beach in Australia in the winter. And I was like, the seasons are backwards in Australia.
Do people not know that?
Apparently not. So it's summer for them when it's winter for us, and winter for them when it's summer for us.
Because they're in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's backwards. They weren't just at the beach
know.
because they wanted to be. It's like beach season.
It's hot for them. Yeah.
It's hot. The 2 gunmen, Naveed Akram, which is the son, and Sahid Akram, the father, were armed with long rifles. The death toll up to 15 with 20 plus people injured. Among the dead was a 10-year-old girl, 2 rabbis, and a Holocaust survivor.
So some people think that this may have been a possible false flag operation. Personally, I kind of believe this. Let me tell you why. Some sources say Naveed was a former IDF soldier. Now this has tried to be debunked, and this did kind of just come out of nowhere from false images of a fake ID that was made that said he was an Israeli citizen. However, other sources say just days before the attack, he was tracked back to Tel Aviv, a major city in Israel. He did have some interesting places that he visited before the attack, and it's just a little sketchy. So who the hell is Arsen Ostrovsky? Arsen Ostrovsky. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
I don't really care because he is an international human rights lawyer Not because of that, but because of what's coming. I don't care about you because you're an international human rights lawyer. That's going to be taken out of context. Supposedly, he's recognized by the Jerusalem Post as one of the top 50 Jewish leaders in the world.
There's a list? I didn't even know there was a list of
There's a list for everything. Oh. There's even a list for pedophiles. They call that one the Epstein list. So why is this important? One of the victims of the shooting was Arsen Ostrovsky. He is a paid actor. Paid off by the Israeli government, I believe. Let me tell you why. He was self-reportedly involved in the October 7th attacks in Palestine. Sorry, Israel. By Palestine, by Hamas. Now, just 2 weeks after, quote, moving to Australia to fight the growing anti-Semitism, he's been involved in this attack. Just 2 weeks. Strange.
That's just really bad luck, or
it's really, really bad luck. It's just, a little interesting. Now, here's something interesting. We found some strange pictures of Arsen. He, during the attack, decided on his own accord to post an image of him lying down, taking a selfie, supposedly after being shot in the head. I'm going to show the picture here. And yes, that looks pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Now, personally, if I'm getting shot at for no apparent reason, my first thought isn't to take out my phone and take a selfie, be like, oh my God, guys, I just got shot in the head. You're never going to believe this, and post it everywhere. No one does that. No one does that.
I just got shot, everybody.
Oh my God, I just got shot. I'm the victim. No, my first thought is, oh my God, oh no, freaking out because I'm getting shot at. Well, you can't use a tourniquet on your head, but maybe.
Try it hard enough.
True. Put it around your neck. Don't do that. Please don't do that. So, you've got that image. And then here is another image. And this is, by the way, both of these images are on Arsen Ostrovsky's personal X page, Twitter page. You can find them there. This is where I got these. Here's an image of him after the attack being interviewed with a very bloody head, but a very clean bandage. It's weird.
Odd.
Strange. Blood tends to soak up with bandages. Another interesting thing about this picture is that many people have pointed out, those who are in the medical field, is that when someone is being cared for, they almost never, actually never at all, leave the person completely bloodied and dirty and messy before bandaging. They clean them up, they see where the wound is, and they patch it. This man is incredibly bloody all over the place, still.
Everywhere,
despite the bandage being perfectly clean. Now, why are you giving an interview looking like that in the first place? If this is real, you should be rushed to the hospital. You just got shot in the head. Grazed, mind you.
I just noticed something.
What did you notice?
So this blood trail that's supposedly going this way and this one goes this way, it stops. It doesn't go in his mouth, it just stops.
Well. You should be rushed to the hospital for something like this, right?
Yeah, and I think when blood flows, it goes with gravity, so I don't think it's gonna stop.
Yeah, and you can see right there. It just stops. It's almost like someone painted that on him. Oh no! What do we have here? Oh my God! It's a picture of him having the makeup applied. No!
Heavens!
Arsen Ostrovsky, you are an actor.
He lied.
He lied. Not only did he lie, he pretended to be a victim of a mass murder. What a horrible thing to do.
What an awful human being.
What a terrible human being. Now, people have tried to point out that this picture was taken during an event in Israel, supposedly, on how to help people who have been shot and need medical attention. However, his clothes are the exact same. Granted, I wear the same clothes every once in a while too, sure. But the patterns on his face from the blood are also the exact same. You can't make this up. This is real. Arsen Ostrovsky is a paid actor. So that's why I think this is a false flag operation. This man coming on live TV should have been rushed to the hospital, probably should be incredibly dizzy and nauseous from the amount of blood loss, probably shouldn't even really be thinking straight, is giving a perfectly coherent interview. And I'll throw up a little clip of that interview right now for you, just so you can see for yourself.
We've got another witness who wasn't in the best shape, who was caught up in it all and still did what the best that he could do. Let's just run this.
I survived October 7th. I lived in Israel the last 13 years. We came here only 2 weeks ago to work with the Jewish community, to fight anti-Semitism, to fight this bloodthirsty, ravaging hatred.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. You know, we've lived through worse. We're going to get through this, and we're going to get the bastards that did this.
Tell me, did you see the gunman?
I did. I saw at least one gunman firing. Looked like a shotgun, firing randomly in all directions. I saw children falling to the floor. So elderly. I saw invalids. I saw people. Just, it was an absolute bloodbath, blood gushing everywhere. You know, October 7th. That's the last time I saw this.
This is just too perfect. Why on earth is this man even here? Why is he faking a horrendous situation and playing it off like it's all an act? And before we move on, let me make something incredibly clear. I do not deny that the events occurred at Bondi Beach. I do not deny that they happened. I know they happened. I know that people died, and I know that it was horrible. I acknowledge that many people died and that this was an act of terror. However, I do not believe almost anything the mainstream media has said about all of this, and neither should you. Do your own research. I stand by this, and I will die on that hill. Do your own research. Here's something else interesting. Bibi Netanyahu gave a warning to Australia. After the attack, Bibi came out and didn't show his remorse for the Australian people. No. Rather, he criticized them. He criticized the Australian Prime Minister, saying, "I sent him a letter in which I gave warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism." This was a reference to the Australian Prime Minister siding with and supporting Palestine. So apparently, supporting Palestine, not Hamas, Palestine is anti-Semitic. Well. Mr. Netanyahu, you have done some terrible things, and you continue to make some interesting choices.
He continues to amaze me with his lack of brain cells.
Me too. It just doesn't make any sense. So the Australians' response to the inconsiderate comments were, quote, "This is a national moment for harmony. See, to me, this just sounds like a little kid going up to their friend saying, 'I told you so.' Why did he feel the need to say all of that? It was a warning. A threat, even." So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a false flag operation. And I'll tell you why I think that. Besides everything I've already told you, Netanyahu has accused Iran of committing this attack without any information on who actually did it. They did that pretty much immediately after the attack happened.
They always
First
say
thing
it's
they
Iran.
did. It was Iran.
It's always Iran.
It's Iran. The two attackers were not Iranian. They were Muslim, but they were not Iranian.
Israel just consistently looks at Iran and like something happens in the world and Israel's like, "It was them. They looked at me funny."
Israel just hates Iran. They are the reason that we have bombed them so many times. I mean, fine. Yeah, they might have deserved it a couple times, but not that many. Now, you know why he did that? Because he hates them. He wants any possible reason to bomb them and attack them to further his empire's gain. Just like I said. And guess who's going to get dragged along into it all? That's right, America. Because we have always fought their wars.
He's crazy.
He is insane, and he needs to be put in check. But nope, they're our greatest ally. Moving on. Media madness.
Media madness. So we're going to talk about the Brown University shooting. So what happened? There was a mass shooting at Brown University, and 2 students were killed. Ella Cook, who was a conservative club president, and Muhammad Aziz
Umar Zakov.
There we go.
I think that's right. I apologize for butchering the name.
And 5 days later, the shooter is found dead in a New Hampshire storage unit by police. But why did the FBI get involved? The FBI is not involved in every single school shooting incident that there is, so there has to be a list of requirements for them to get involved. The FBI typically gets involved in school shootings under certain conditions that align with their definition of an active shooter incident, or when the situation requires federal resources and expertise beyond local capabilities. Some key factors that prompt FBI involvement include the active shooter definition. The FBI defines an active shooter as one or more individuals actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area such as a school. When such incident occurs, the FBI may intervene to assist local law enforcement. Severity and scale. The FBI often becomes involved when the shooting results in multiple casualties or poses a significant threat to public safety requiring a coordinated federal response, or a request from local authorities. The FBI usually steps in when local state law enforcement agencies request federal assistance due to complexity or severity. Potential federal crimes. If the shooting involves violations of federal law, such as use of firearms and furtherance of a crime of violence, terrorism, or crossing state lines, the FBI has jurisdiction to investigate. Threat assessment and prevention. The FBI also engages proactively in threat assessments and prevention efforts when there are credible threats or indicators of planned violence in schools. Or, finally, coordination with other agencies. The FBI works in coordination with federal, state, and local agencies to provide resources, intelligence, and investigative support.
So in this case, the FBI did feel that this incident aligned with one or more of these criteria. Now, when I first saw this, I did think that it was strange that the FBI had gotten involved, because unfortunately, a lot of the school shooting incidents that I've seen, I've almost never seen them get involved. So it was a little strange.
A little odd.
Little odd.
Now to the alleged shooter. In past events, when the FBI tends to get involved in cases where we're all like, what the heck are they doing there? Mm-hmm. Things tend to be a bit sketchy, to say the least.
Just a wee bit.
I don't think anybody who commits such crimes, like, shooting up college kids on campuses, deserves to be named, but we're going to talk about what he allegedly did.
Yep.
Media reports that the shooter, over a 5-day period, shot up the Brown University campus, made his way to MIT to assassinate a professor identified as Nuno Lorio, then made his way to a storage unit in New Hampshire and died to a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yep. That's what they say.
They say. CBS reports they also found a satchel, 2 guns, and more evidence from the attacks, according to investigators. A joint statement from the FBI and the ATF said forensic testing linked one of the guns to the Brown University shooting and the other to the murder of the MIT professor in Brooklyn.
So let's quickly talk about who Mustafa Karbach is. Now, I posted a video, a quick short on YouTube, about this person when this all first happened. The Brown University student is a Muslim Palestinian, and 3 days into the search, said to be the shooter due to Brown's strange online behavior. What was that behavior? From a Brown University student spotlight page, he is a 3rd-generation Palestinian refugee born and raised in Lebanon, and is particularly interested in the intersection of queer studies with Palestinian studies. This post was not dated, And then from another Brown University page dated for October of 2025, the page consistently refers to Mustafa as they instead of he, like in the previous one. Why is this important? Well, because Mustafa is gay, of course. Allegedly, their own social profiles state this. However, I was unable to actually find any of this person's socials because
They got wiped.
they got wiped. Now, why is that important? Why is them being gay important? It shouldn't be. However,
Comma.
in the past, a large majority of school shooters have been gay or trans. So, it was not crazy to call this guy the possible shooter online. I mean, I believed it. I thought that it was very possible. They looked very similar to the image and the videos that were released by the Providence police. So it wasn't crazy. I mean, you know, I posted about it. I wanted to put it out there and let people know. So why are we talking about this guy? On December 16th, 3 days after the shooting, people online started to realize that Brown had completely scrubbed this student from the internet. All pages that I've referenced so far were completely wiped, including multiple social accounts, and even an article on Mustafa written by the MuslimAdvocates.org, which has no correlation to the school at all. It
Nothing.
shouldn't. Now, it's one thing for the school to do it, but for an organization that has no affiliation, it's just sketchy.
A little weird.
After thousands of people started to call out Brown for trying to seemingly hide a student from the media, they came out and said it was for the student's protection in light of recent events. That's like saying, I didn't do anything when you were a kid to your mom, when she just looks at you without any reason for her to be suspicious of you. But now, of course, she's going to think that something's up and you did something. Like, I didn't do anything, but you just broke a vase, but she didn't know. Well, now she does know. All the pages and articles I've mentioned have since been restored now that the alleged shooter has been found. That's why we're able to get a lot of this information about this specific person, about Mustafa. Now, I don't know if Mr. Carbouch, Mr. Miss, I don't know, they, it, has any relation to the shooting or even just feeding the information to the real shooter. But the whole thing is just wildly suspicious.
A little weird.
Very weird. So we'll keep an eye out on this. Probably nothing else will come of it because that's the mainstream media for you. Do your own research, people. And finally, your favorite.
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Okay, so Venezuela was once, not no more, one of the wealthiest nations in Latin America, sitting on the largest proven oil reserves in the world. This was not a failed state by nature. It was a country with resources, educated citizens, and economic potential. The crisis we see today was the result of political chaos, choices, ideology, and the steady expansion of the government power at the expense of freedom and accountability. Now we got to talk about where the problem started.
Yes.
The rise of Chavez
The roots.
and Maduro. So Hugo Chavez was elected in 1999. He brought 21st century socialism to Venezuela, promising equality, social programs, and redistribution of wealth. Oh, but that's not what happened. No.
Just sounds like communism to me.
The government took over key industries, including oil, and expanded social welfare programs funded by high oil prices. When oil prices fell, the economy had no resilience, leading to shortages, inflation, and economic contraction. And after Chavez's death, Nicolás Maduro took power in 2013. Unlike Chavez, he leaned heavily on authoritarian tactics, cracking down on dissent, suppressing opposition political parties, and controlling media outlets. Daily life for Venezuelans turned into survival. Grocery store shelves emptied, hospitals lacked medicine and electricity. Inflation destroyed savings and wages, professionals fled the country, and parents skipped meals so just so their children can eat. This humanitarian collapse began long before major U.S. sanctions and cannot be separated from years of corruption and mismanagement. More than 7 million Venezuelans have fled the country, making it one of the largest migration exoduses in modern history. These people did not leave for opportunity. They left because staying meant hunger, repression, or death. This exodus destabilized neighboring countries and directly impacts migration pressure reaching the United States. But Maduro did not survive alone. Cuba has provided intelligence and internal security. Russia and China provided loans, weapons, diplomatic protection. Iran expanded cooperation through energy and military ties. And Venezuela became a strategic foothold for U.S. adversaries in the Western Hemisphere, raising serious national security concerns.
So literally everyone we hate. Russia, China, Iran, Cuba, all those people.
They just got their foothold in Venezuela.
Yep. And they're right next door to us.
Great. Venezuela did not collapse because of its people. It collapsed because of corruption, socialism, and authoritarian control. The chaos, migration, and global tension surrounding Venezuela are the consequences. Whether change comes through eternal reform, international pressure, or long-term collapse will remain unknown until it happens. Mm-hmm. What is certain is that Venezuela stands as one of the clearest modern warnings of what happens when power goes unchecked.
Yep.
Now we get on to what happened last Saturday.
This was very recently. This will be about, I think, exactly a week from when this video is posted.
On Saturday morning, January 3rd, 2026. I know I woke up to one of the biggest jump scares of my life.
I did too.
But the United States launched a major military operation against Venezuela that involved airstrikes and ground seizure of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. I have never seen so many different types of military aircraft in the same place at the same time.
I have never woken up to the text message of the U.S. just kidnapped the president of another country until last Saturday. That shot out of bed immediately, ran downstairs.
We kidnapped the whole president.
Oh my God, we kidnapped the president.
The U.S. government says that the purpose was to remove Maduro from power and bring him to U.S. custody to face federal criminal charges in New York. Mm-hmm. If you guys know anything, there's a saying in the military. If SEAL Team 6 knocks on your door, you're dying. If Delta Force knocks on your door, you're going to prison. Actually, most likely, the SEAL Team 6 is not knocking on your door. You're going to wake up in heaven.
You're not going to get any knock. You're just going to wake up to freedom music and M4s pointed... M4s? M16s pointed in your face.
But according to U.S. statements and news reportings, President Donald Trump has announced that U.S. forces struck targets across northern Venezuela, including key military installations, and then captured Maduro and his wife during a surprise raid in Caracas early Saturday. Both were flown out of Venezuela and taken into federal custody of the United States. This was a prime example of how good the United States is at human intel and signal intelligence. We knew, based on insider sources, where in a giant bunker made of concrete the president of Venezuela was.
Yep.
And we went there and we got at him.
And we got him pretty dang quick. Not only did we get him pretty dang quick, we got him without a single civilian casualty.
Nope. The only thing that happened was one of our helicopters got shot at, but it continued to fly. So,
it was great.
Hoorah.
No Venezuelan civilian casualties, no military casualties on our side, plenty of military casualties on their side, but they weren't really Venezuelan, they were Cuban. So.
But Maduro and Flores have pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking and narco-terrorism related charges in U.S. federal court. Maduro has publicly described himself as a kidnapped president and continues to assert that he is still the legitimate leader of Venezuela. I fear that you're not.
He's not.
He's up in some, cell next to Diddy.
Probably.
They're talking,
having a grand old time. Well, maybe not.
But the U.S. frames that the operation is a part of a larger effort to address drug trafficking and corruption through domestic critics and international legal experts question legality and precedent of striking a sovereign nation without congressional approval. This operation has drawn international backlash. The United Nations Secretary General expressed concern over the legality and stability implications of the U.S. actions. Countries including Russia, China, and several Latin American governments have condemned the strike as a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty and international law.
Now, I personally just want to talk about this part really quick, because I had a conversation with someone when all of this went down about the legality of this. And we had every right to do it. Because, yes, Trump didn't get congressional approval to do it. However, plenty of presidents before us have bombed places without congressional approval, and they got away with it. That's not the point, though. Trump did do this legally. Maduro has had a bounty on his head for quite some time, and it was served by the U.S., and it was claimed by the U.S. I see no problem with that. Perfectly legal.
Public opinion in the U.S. is sharply divided. A recent poll showed that about 1 in 3 Americans support the strike, with majority support among Republicans, but far less backing from Democrats and independents.
Shocker.
Many worried that the U.S. involvement could escalate or entangle the country deeper in foreign conflict. Senior U.S. officials, including the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, love that man, have stated that the U.S. does not tend to govern Venezuela directly, even as President Trump at times has suggested taking a role in restoring order and managing the country's oil infrastructure. As of now, Maduro is in U.S. custody facing criminal charges. Venezuela's leadership situation remains highly unstable, with Vice President Delcy Rodriguez proclaimed as interim president by Maduro's government, and significant internal resistance continuing in the country. Venezuelan authorities have issued orders to arrest anyone seen as supportive of the U.S. operation.
Unfortunately, the Venezuelan government no longer really has any power. So the people are uprising and they are fighting back. There have been reports of gangs, basically, being formed to fight against the government. Good on them.
Go you!
We're very proud of you, we're in support of you, and we wish you the best of luck. Some of the videos released from the liberation of Venezuela, per se, were absolutely incredible. People were swarming the streets, crying tears of joy because of how happy they were. They never thought they'd be free in their lives, and because of the U.S., they are now free.
They're having a grand old time. It
amazes me that an American citizen can look at this and say, this is a bad thing. No, it's not.
No, they're ecstatic.
Sure, we might take some of your oil as payment, but you're free now. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to live in fear of your fingers getting cut off if you talk badly about the government anymore. So, I think we made a pretty good deal with them. We took their dictator, they're happy, they give us a little bit of oil, and we're all good.
Everything's happy.
Everyone is happy. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been quite a quick episode, but that is it for this week. We will keep you updated on everything that we've talked about, especially Venezuela, and have a wonderful day and stay safe and do your own research.
Yes.
Goodbye. This has been The Right Approach.